There's no place quite like Sanford Burnham Prebys, an independent research institute that for nearly half a century has tackled some of the most pressing threats to our health. This is a time of accelerating and transformational discovery. Our mission is to decipher the most debilitating diseases, creating and advancing effective therapies that benefit patients. Doing so requires people with big ideas and the talent and expertise to make things happen. You can find them here, experts in cancer, genetics, cardiovascular, neurological and metabolic diseases, immunology, stem cells and aging, working together and with our many collaborators across the region, country, and world. We also recruit and train researchers in our graduate school and postdoctoral programs. New generations of great thinkers and doers. This is a new golden age of medicine. The old ways of thinking about and doing science are being revised, reinvented, and replaced. Our mission, however, remains the same. We translate science into health. Welcome to Sanford Burnham Prebys.
So hello and welcome to all of you. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see you all and for us to be getting together again for the Fishman Fund Awards. It's been quite a while, and I think maybe it's been long enough that you don't remember the history of how Fishman Fund started. So if you'll indulge me, I'll give you a little quick run through. And I've been running around for the last half hour like a chicken with my head cut off. So it's going to take me a minute to settle down too. I'm going to read. It has to be down? Okay. I need all the help I can get. So these awards, the Fishman Awards, were established to honor Dr. William and Lillian Fishman, and they were the founders of what's now the Sanford Burnham Prebys Medical Discovery Institute. When it started, it was a cancer center in the old Scripps building in downtown La Jolla. So the Fishman Awards are a tribute to the culture of membership, mentorship, and support that was created by Dr. and Mrs. Fishman. They felt it was essential to recruit top scientists and ensure that they had all the tools and support they needed to pursue their curiosity and their research goals. The Fishman Awards continue this philosophy. They're given to exceptional postdoctoral scholars to advance their research and to foster their career growth as they become, hopefully, our scientific leaders of tomorrow. To date, we've had the honor of providing 80 Fishman Fund Awards. And 4 fellowship awards for early career researchers, a lot of whom have gone on to do great things and have made lasting impacts on the world. These awards are important because they provide vital funds to our young scientists for their research projects, their development, and collaborative opportunities. It is these up-and-coming biomedical research who will make the medical discoveries of tomorrow and develop the crucial medicines and therapeutics for us all. Bill and Lillian Fishman had a motto, and their motto was, "From research, the power to cure." So I was thinking about it last night, and I thought, okay, this is a really nice script, but it doesn't really tell you in a way close to our hearts about what actually happens here. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to tell you a few stories. Is that okay with you? It's going to add a few minutes to the program, but I think it's important. So the first story is about our very first postdoc winner. The first postdoc to come and work with Bill and Lillian Fishman, and he came from Argentina, and his name was Dr. Jose Luis Milan. And Jose Luis was very interested in bone mineralization. So in the beginning, he was working on how to keep the bones, our bones, mineralized and strong as we got older. But then he made an interesting discovery. He started to learn about so many babies and children who were born without the ability to mineralize their bones. And so they often died early because their ribs couldn't support their breathing, or they couldn't develop normally because their legs weren't strong enough to hold them up. So Dr. Milan started doing research in that, and amazingly, he discovered an enzyme that fixed that problem. So after that, people would bring their children to Dr. Milan, and he would give them this treatment, and they would walk out very much better. And some of you know this. We also used to do something called a group of 12 and friends. So Dr. Milan brought this little girl to us who could barely hobble, and she was 4 years old. And she came every 4 years, and we saw the progress that she was making using Dr. Milan's therapy. And I'm happy to tell you that the last time we saw her at the age of 16, she could not only walk, she could dance, ride horses, and ski. And then I'm going to bore you with another couple of quick stories. And these stories are about our second Fishman Fund Award winner, Dr. Hudson Freeze. I think Hud is here with us. Where are you, Hud? There's Hud. There's Hud. So Hud was working on something that's very different. He found that some kids, due to certain kind of genomic abnormalities, they couldn't, they had a variety of problems or diseases that people really didn't understand what was going on. And he discovered that with variables, these kids had a certain problem that they couldn't attach a sugar molecule to a protein molecule in a process called glycosylation. So Hud traveled all around the world talking to pediatricians and other people about if you have a kid that looks like he's a bleeder, or you have a kid that looks like he's autistic or retarded or some other problem, please get him genetically tested, because we have various treatments that we can help save your children. So one day, Dr. Freeze got a call from a pediatrician in Germany. And the pediatrician said, I have a 6-year-old boy here who's bleeding to death. And I know about your sugar. You told me about your sugar, but I don't know how much to give him and how often to give it to him. I don't know toxicity levels. So HUD asked a group of volunteers at Sanford Burnham Prebys, including Kathy Burnham, who's here tonight. There's Kathy. And those dedicated volunteers spent 9 hours at night drinking sugar and having their blood taken, so Dr. Frebys could call this pediatrician and say, okay, you can give this kid this much more mannose. And the result was tired volunteers, and the child's life was saved. That's really what's happening here. And one last thing, I happened to be in HUD's laboratory one day, and I saw a husband and a wife and a nice teenage girl. And I went over to talk to the teenage girl, and I asked her how come she happened to be there. And she said, I'm the reason that we're here because I took Dr. Frebys' treatments. And now I graduated school, and my parents asked me, what would I like for a graduation present? And she said, I wanted to come here and say to Dr. Frebys, thank you for my life. And that's what we do here. Multiply that by a whole lot, and you can see why it's important to help these postdocs. So now I'm going to go back on script. Thank you for joining us for this special evening as we show our appreciation to the brilliant and dedicated postdoctoral researchers that are transforming the future of human health and what they have accomplished, as the pandemic of COVID has also shown us that this research is literally a matter of life or death. As one of our postdoc alumni and past Fishman Award winner shared recently with us this quote, as a clinical doctor, I can impact 1,000 lives or so, but as a researcher developing new therapeutics, I now have the opportunity to impact hundreds of thousands of lives. So I would now like to take this opportunity to recognize all the Fishman Award winners who have been able to be here this evening. If you have received a Fishman Award, would you please stand up? Beautiful. Thank you so much for showing up. And I would like to recognize also the staff and the volunteers who helped make these awards possible, and the Fishman Awards Community Advisory Board members who have been so important to the success of this project. We cannot thank you enough for your participation, your advice, your counsel, and your help. And to our new co-chair, Mr. Brad Benter, we are so grateful for your leadership and want to express our gratitude to you. Could I ask the advisory board members and Brad to stand up and be recognized? Look at all those wonderful people that come and help us do this. And I want to express my gratitude to Nisha Kavanaugh, who manages the postdoctoral program. Her passion and dedication at SBP is unparalleled. And most importantly, I would like to say a special thank you to all our donors who are here with us in the room. You have made these awards possible. So I can't tell you enough And we hope you'll continue to come and help us provide for these deserving postdocs. The Fishman Fund is inspired by our donors and our supporters, and we want to say a special and honest-to-goodness, heartfelt thanks to all of you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Sanford Burnham Prebys Board Chair, Dr. Donald Kearns. Dr. Kearns is President Emeritus of Rady Children's Hospital, San Diego, having previously served as President and CEO from 2013 to 2018, and before that in several leadership roles. He joined Rady's Children's in 1987. Dr. Kearns earned his medical degree from Louisiana State University School of Medicine and completed residency in otolaryngology, head and neck surgery at Baylor College of Medicine. Did I do otolaryngology? That's a mouthful. And he had a subsequent fellowship in pediatric otolaryngology at the Great Ormond School Hospital of London, England. He also has a Master of Medical Management degree from Marshall School of Business at the University of Southern California. Dr. Kearns joined the Sanford Burnham Prebys Board of Trustees in 2020 and is the current chair. And now I give you Sanford Burnham Prebys' Dr. Donald.
So before we get started, who do you think the greatest ambassador for Sanford Burnham Prebys is? She's seated right there. The other thing is, if I'd have known this was all going to be about HUD freeze, I'd have stayed home. So thank you so much for being here. This is a great honor to have the opportunity to speak to you. I, as Rena mentioned, am from Louisiana. I grew up in a tiny, tiny town down in the Bayou country. And in fact, the only time you would have heard of my hometown is as you see the hurricane come through on the national news. And in fact, the most recent hurricane went right through my hometown. And yes, everybody's fine, but they still don't have any electricity. Growing up in this town, my parents' dream was for me to become a physician. And so over time, as you've heard, I went through medical school and residency and fellowship, and all of these things occurred. I became a pediatric surgeon here at Rady and had a fabulous career. And sometimes life takes right turns and left turns, and at some point, I ended up becoming a hospital administrator. And it was not something I had planned. The universe decided that's what I was going to do. And I can still remember having a conversation with my father, who looked at me and said, "Boy, I didn't pay all that money to put you through medical school to go become an accountant." Let me just say, he was an accountant. So I said, this is slightly different than that. Instead of taking care of one patient at a time, I'm going to be taking care of 750,000 kids at a time. And he was okay with that. And it was one of these things where I recognized how and why scale is so important. And when we think about why Sanford Burnham Prebys is such an important institute, it's about scale. And Rena just mentioned that one of the scientists was talking about the ability to make differences in so many different lives. And when you think about human biology and research at its most base part, This is what makes a difference in all of our lives. It provides medical progress, it gives us new lives and new hope, and makes such a difference in all of us as we move forward. I met Rena's grandson today, who is this stone cold genius sitting in the front, and he shared with me that the first person who's going to live to be 150 has been born. It's probably not anybody in this room. But think about it. The way that's going to change is all about the discoveries that Sanford Burnham Prebys is making now. And when we think about who's most responsible for these discoveries, postdocs are a big part of it. We are here to honor and celebrate some of our finest postdocs. These are people who inject new life, energy, and ideas into the Institute. So now some of you may be familiar with a postdoc and what they do, but I was thinking, who are postdocs? Realistically, they're the brains and the backbone of scientific institutions. But in real life, they're the geniuses that were sitting next to you in math class. And they're the ones who wrecked the curve. So the good news is we put them to better use now. And what a postdoc is someone who's completed college and then gone on to complete a graduate education and has a PhD. And a postdoc is similar to an internship or a residency for a clinical physician. So it's the ability to actually get into a lab and make differences in the lab's work. And I asked the group here to come up with what a postdoc does and what's part of what their life is. And they help plan and conduct experiments, effectively making them responsible for much of research productivity. They carry out programs, build alliances and intellectual connections to other institutions and collaborations. And I think one of the things we've learned from our new CEO, David Brenner, is the future is around collaboration. So this is such an important part of what we do. They expand and elevate the reputations of labs and departments in which they work. They mentor graduate students. As I think everybody here knows, we have a graduate program, and it is producing PhD students. So a lot of the connection that postdocs have is with our PhD students. And this is the next generation of new life, energy, and ideas. And they also increase the flow of grant support. During this training period, aspiring scientists can develop and hone the skills, knowledge, and experience the long-term benefits of what science is. So the postdocs receive plenty of benefits from this, but the institutions like Sanford Burnham Prebys do also. We're investing in early career scientists, and we think that's a big part of our future. And we also are investing in the next generation of imagination and innovation. These are the scientists who are going to give us new remedies and courses of action for healthcare. But even more importantly than that, you have seen the number of people in the audience who are prior Fishman Award winners. They're still connected to the institution. So what I'm most excited about is as we produce these postdocs and they move on to academia, or they move on to industry, or they move on to other institute researches, they are ambassadors for what we do here. And it's a little piece of Sanford Burnham Prebys that we're spreading across the globe. So since the inception in 2001, the Fishman Awards have nurtured the careers of exceptional Sanford Burnham Prebys postdocs. They've provided needed funding support for attendance of workshops, seminars, conferences, and other network events with top scientists in their field. It's all designed to help them eventually become the top of their field. I am proud that we have the Fishman Awards available for our postdocs. And I'd like to thank all the postdocs and their mentors that are making important discoveries at the Institute. I had a fabulous mentor, and he shared with me, whenever you're going to do public speaking, you want to leave your audience with a to-do at the end, what you want them to walk away with. And what I'd love for all of you to do is to introduce yourself to our winners. And the reason for that is we all are going to open the newspaper tomorrow. It is going to be full of bad news, I promise you. There is no question about it. However, these postdocs are full of good news. They're going to help your heart, and I can tell you, if you're lucky, you stay attached to them as they evolve into fabulous scientists. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Amy.
That was a pretty wonderful talk, and I like your to-do, so I don't have to say it at the end as I was planning. Thank you, Dr. Kearns. We're so happy to have you here as our board chair and help us to continue the legacy of our mission to support these brilliant scientists. This is a special year for the Fishman Awards. We are now so excited to tell you that we are going to present 6 awards, and that includes 2 newly established ones. And just as an FYI, all the postdocs at SBP are able to compete for these awards. We are honored today to tell you about some of our new awards. One of them is the Fishman Fund's Non-Barak Memorial Award in memory of a remarkable man. Typically, the Fishman Awards has recognized 3 postdocs annually, each receiving $10,000 for career development. This award provides funding for various developmental activities. They can go to important conferences. They can buy needed equipment. They can use it for a variety of needs. And now, with the addition of the Fishman Fund's Don Barak Memorial Career Award, we are able to support 4 exceptional postdocs. We're also thrilled to introduce the newly created Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award. The Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award is a brand new award category given to Sanford Burnham Prebys postdocs for their outstanding biomedical research contributions and for their demonstrated track record of research excellence. This recognition comes to them as they are poised to advance to the next stage of their career, reflecting their exceptional achievements and potential future success. In addition to our new awards, we'll be presenting the biannual Fishman Fund Fellowship, which provides salary support for 2 years to a deserving postdoc. We are now thrilled to introduce the Fishman winners. So then, what we've all been waiting for, let's get to the awards. I would like to invite Brad Benter to join me in presenting this award.
Thank you, Rena. We are pleased to present the Jean Jones and Catherine Fishback Fishman Fund Career Award to Jessica Prue. Jessica Prue is a postdoctoral associate working in the lab of Dr. Peter Adams. She is investigating how aging changes our bodies at the cellular and molecular levels. Dr. Prue uses biological techniques that study the entire landscape of a sample's genes, proteins, or other features. Dr. Prue works to identify underlying changes that predispose an aged liver to liver disease and liver cancer. Congratulations, Dr. Prue.
Oops.
Thank you, Brad, for that kind introduction, and thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. My name is Jessica Prue, and it is a tremendous honor to be a Fishman Fund Career Development Award recipient. First and foremost, I would like to thank the founders and the donors of the Fishman Fund Awards. It is because of opportunities like these showing a dedicated commitment and support to early career scientists that make Sanford Burnham Prebys an exceptional research facility. I would also like to thank the selection committee, who undoubtedly had to make very difficult deliberations, as Sanford Burnham Prebys is filled with so many brilliant scientists. And of course, speaking of brilliant scientists, I would like to thank my mentor, Dr. Peter Adams. I first met Dr. Adams in April of 2022 as part of the first annual Rising Star Symposium. This symposium is hosted to invite exceptional scholars from all across the country to showcase their research with the goal to recruit early career scientists from diverse or disadvantaged backgrounds. It was because of this opportunity that I was introduced to Dr. Adams and found myself immediately impressed with his admirable philosophy on how we should be performing science. He believes in a collaborative, innovative, and a trainee-centric approach, which are the core values that I look forward to recapitulating when I'm a leader of my own lab one day. It is thanks to his supportive mentorship style that I felt the courage to branch out from my graduate school research studies and move out here of my home state of Texas and begin my journey in a completely new and exciting field of discovery, the epigenetics of aging. You see, every cell in our body originates from an identical DNA blueprint. However, a brain cell is very different from, say, a liver cell or a heart cell. Thus, there are various different levels of regulation to control this flow of DNA information. One of the first and most important stages of this regulation is epigenetics. And so these are going to be modifications on the DNA without modifying the sequence that ultimately control which genes are going to be expressed inside of a cell. So as you can imagine, a neuron needs to express neuron-specific cells, a liver cell needs to express liver-specific cells. Unfortunately, as we age, changes in our epigenetic alter this regulation of gene information, leading to not only a loss of cell identity, but also a loss of healthy cell and tissue function. So part of my studies are better understanding the causes and consequences of this phenomenon so that we can promote healthy aging interventions. I cannot even begin to express how excited and fortunate I feel to be pursuing this journey of innovative discoveries, especially because this journey has not always felt so tangible. I know I owe a great deal of success of my accomplishments so far to my parents. Despite being raised from an underprivileged or disadvantaged background, my parents gave me so much love and support that embedded me with the strength and resiliency that I needed in order to overcome my odds and build a commendable platform for myself. And although both my mom and dad have now passed, I can at least feel comfort in knowing that they can be proud of me. So thank you to the Fishman Fund founders, donors, and selection committee for joining me on this journey of development and discovery and helping me continue to advance my scientific career. I look forward to dedicating my life to becoming a leader of the aging research, like my mentor, Dr. Adams, and to do my part to train and support future generations of scientists. Thank you.
Congratulations to Jessica Prue. One more time. All right, next, we are pleased to present the Lenka, Finchie, and Erna Viterbi Fishman Fund Career Award to Kelly Yichen Lee. Kelly Yi-Chen Lee is a postdoctoral associate in the lab of Dr. Kevin Yip. Lee studies a phenomenon called cellular senescence that is associated with aging. Senescent cells no longer grow and divide, which can reduce the growth of cancer, but also are associated with chronic inflammation and age-related diseases. Dr. Lee is working to find molecular signatures of senescence to advance aging research, treatments, and diagnostics. Congratulations, Dr. Lee. Great.
Thank you, Brad, for the kind introduction. My name is Kelly Yi-Chen Lee. I'm very deeply honored to stand here today as a recipient of the 2024 Fishman Fund Career Development Award. First, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the Fishman Fund founders and donors for their generous support for my colleagues and myself. Thank you for believing in the power of science and for providing us the opportunity to advance our knowledge in human health. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to the selection committee for honoring me with this prestigious award. I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to my mentor, Dr. Kevin Yip, who has been a guide and a supporter throughout my research journey since my PhD. His wisdom and dedication have been crucial in shaping my growth as a scientist. I was originally trained as a biologist in my undergraduate study, and then during my PhD, my mentor Kevin guided me to the world of computational biology, where I started to recognize the power of big data and artificial intelligence in biological discoveries. I also want to thank Dr. Peter Adams, who has given me significant guidance on my current research. With the cutting-edge single-cell techniques and computational analysis, I studied a rare group of cells called senescent cells, which permanently stop dividing but do not die. As we age, senescent cells accumulate and may cause inflammation and damage to the nearby healthy cells, contributing to age-related diseases. Understanding the mechanisms of senescent cells and eventually targeting them show promise in enhancing health and longevity. My career goal is to become an independent researcher in computational biology with a specific focus on senescence and aging. Inspired by the collaborative environment here at Sanford Burnham Prebys, I aim to promote the collaboration between computational scientists and biologists. This synergy, I believe, will dramatically accelerate the pace of biomedical discoveries. With the support of Fishman Fund Award, I will participate in conferences and training programs, establishing connections and collaboration with many other experts in the aging field. Last, I want to thank my family. Growing up in a small town in China, my parents went above and beyond to support my education and career development. Despite their hopes for me to stay nearby after my graduation, since I'm an only child, they wholeheartedly supported my move to San Diego to continue my research. Their sacrifices and unwavering belief in my potential have been the foundation of my research journey. Today happens to be a Mid-Autumn Festival, a time of reunion and Thanksgiving in China. While my family may be far away, they continue to be my greatest encouragement. Thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations to my fellow award recipients. Thank you.
Congratulations to Kelly, and thank you to Brad. At this time, I would like to invite David Pitt to join me in presenting the next award.
I'm proud to present the Rena Horowitz and Mary Bradley Fishman Fund Founders Award to Dr. Xenia D'Souza. Dr. D'Souza is a postdoctoral research associate in the laboratory of Dr. Hudson Fries. Her research is focused on identifying new congenital disorders of glycosylation, or CDGs. Rare disorders caused by mutations that impair glycosylation, the complex process by which cells build long sugar chains that are attached to proteins called glycoproteins. Dr. D'Souza also works to uncover how these rare genetic mutations cause these observed symptoms. Congratulations, Dr. D'Souza.
Thank you, David, for the introduction. My name is Xenia, and I am truly honored to be present here, and I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the generous donors and founders of the Fishman Fund for supporting early career scientists like myself. Your generosity is making a direct impact on the future of medical research and in patient lives. I'd also like to express my gratitude to the selection committee for their dedication towards supporting postdoctoral researchers in their training. A special thanks to my mentor, Dr. Hudson Fries, for giving me the opportunity to be part of such an incredible institute. In HUD's lab, we work on diseases arising from faulty proteins. Imagine a factory production line. Each product goes through a series of precise steps, and everything must work smoothly for the final product to come out perfect. In our body, cells are like tiny factories, constantly making proteins that perform essential functions to keep us healthy. One of the final critical steps in this process is called glycosylation, where sugar molecules are added to proteins, helping the protein perform its function correctly. Now, imagine if something went wrong on that production line. If the DNA, which serves as the cell's blueprint and instruction manual, is damaged, then the sugars don't get added correctly, and the final product, in this case proteins, are defective. For babies born with congenital disorders of glycosylation, this means their bodies don't have the properly functioning proteins needed for normal growth and development. By understanding this cellular process better, my research aims to help correct these errors in the factory line and find treatments for these genetic disorders. I majored in biological sciences in my undergraduate studies, and I was particularly fascinated by the way cells function like intricate factories, tirelessly transporting cargo to keep everything running smoothly. The complexity of the system captivated me early on, and it became the driving force behind my PhD. As a graduate student, I learned about the crippling disorders that arise due to faulty glycosylation and decided to apply my training in cell biology to further understand this disorder at the molecular level. Growing up in India, I witnessed firsthand how children with rare genetic disorders often faced a lack of treatment and healthcare. In many cases, these conditions were misunderstood, attributed to superstitions, or seen as divine curses rather than medical issues. This deeply moved me and inspired my dedication in science with the hope of bringing knowledge, compassion, and effective treatments to families affected by such disorders. I am fortunate to be able to work with one of the pioneers in the field, HUD. And looking forward, my goal is to transition into a career that combines my passion for science into advocacy. Being a part of HUD's lab, I've been able to witness firsthand the importance of quickly translating scientific findings into cures to improve patient outcomes. I hope to play a role in bridging the gap between scientific research and policy, ensuring that scientific discoveries translate into real-world solutions that benefit society. Finally, I would like to thank my family and friends, especially my partner Alex, for their unwavering support throughout my journey, and congratulations to tonight's awardees. Thank you all.
Thank you, David, and congratulations to Zinnia. At this time, I would like to invite my husband, Sam Horowitz, to join me in presenting this next award.
Oh, it's great to follow Rena. I am honored to present the inaugural Fishman Fund's Don Barak Memorial Award. This award is a tribute to Don Barak, our founder Rena Horowitz's brother and my beloved brother-in-law. Don was a loving father, brother, uncle, and friend, and will be greatly missed. And aside from family, he was an extraordinary, and I mean extraordinary, empathetic and caring person. I know these words, we've all heard these kinds of words before, but he and I were best of friends for many years. I miss him greatly, and my heart constantly, daily, I think of him, love him, and miss him. It is my pleasure to present the inaugural Fishman Fund's Don Barak Memorial Award to Wei-Jia Huang, to Dr. Wei-Jia Huang. Dr. Wei-Jia Huang is a postdoctoral associate in the lab of Dr. Timothy Huang. She investigates the fundamental causes of Alzheimer's disease, the most common cause of dementia. Huang's primary focus is on the SORLA, S-O-R-L-A gene, a known risk factor for sporadic early and late onset Alzheimer's disease. She believes that developing treatments to boost SORLA's beneficial effects may prove to be an innovative treatment approach. Congratulations, Dr. Huang.
Thanks, Sam, for the kind introduction, and thank you, Rena and Sam. I'm deeply honored to be here tonight as the inaugural recipient of the Don Barak Memorial Fishman Fund Career Award. My name is Huijie. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers and sponsors for establishing this award. The Fishman Fund Award shows a generous investment in the future of scientific discovery and the growth of young scientists like us. This award reminds us that our work matters and there is a community cheering us on. So my work in Dr. Timothy Huang's lab is studying the mechanism of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior. Nearly 6 million Americans are currently living with this disease. In the brains of Alzheimer's patients, there is a buildup of toxic proteins, which are key to the disease progression. If these proteins are not transported efficiently for degradation, they will accumulate and lead to the pathology of these diseases. My mentor, Dr. Timothy Huang, who is a pioneer studying protein transporting system, and his guidance We are working on innovative strategies to improve the transport of those proteins to be broken down and become less toxic, which provides a new approach to combat Alzheimer's disease. Looking forward, my career aspirations are to transition into the biotech industry, where I can contribute to the development of new drug candidates and strategies against age-related neurodegenerative diseases. The support provided by the Fishman Award will enable me to present my research at national and international conferences, further enhancing my professional development and placing me to secure a role in the biotech field. In closing, I would like to once again thank Don Breck and other Fishman Fund founders for giving me this incredible opportunity to advance my career. I would also like to extend a special thanks to the entire Huang Lab, particularly my mentor also is my friend, Dr. Timothy Huang, for his unwavering guidance and encouragement throughout my research journey. I also want to acknowledge Otis for providing helpful workshops that have supported my career development. On a personal note, I'm especially grateful to my parents, who raised me with forever love and support throughout my education. We have been apart for 5 years due to the pandemic with the issues and the demands of my research project. And it's finally time for a long-awaited visit. I also want to thank my husband, Chang, who is here with me tonight. His love and support are the reason I moved to San Diego 3 years ago and settled in a place that we call home. Thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations to my fellow award recipients. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and congratulations to Dr. Wong. And now I'm going to just take 1 minute for a special privilege. Since the Don Barak Memorial Award is brand new, I would like to mention that Don's family are all here, and also our family. So we join you. And thank you all for coming. And now at this time, I would like to invite Cynthia Shenkman to join me in presenting the next award.
I am pleased to present a brand new award, the first ever Fishman Fund Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award. It has been an honor to provide this new award to recognize excellence in research. My husband and I have been involved with the Fishman Awards for over a decade and are always impressed with the brilliant minds that win the awards. So tonight is my pleasure to present the inaugural, the Fishman Fund Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award to Chiara Nicoletti. Chiara Nicoletti is a postdoctoral associate in the laboratory of Dr. Pier Lorenzo Peru. She studies epigenetic patterns, which are genetic changes that don't alter the DNA itself, yet modify how genes are expressed to make proteins and other products. She analyzes epigenetic patterns in skeletal muscle development, and disease. Nicoletti hopes to help develop personalized medicine tools for patients suffering from muscular dystrophy. I added something. Aaron and I have a son who's suffering from MS. Hearing what these brilliant minds are researching makes us so hopeful that there will be progress towards the cure of MS and Danny will get to live a good life. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, for the kind introduction. And also thank you, Cynthia and Aaron, for this generous award. My name is Chiara, and I come from Italy, specifically Sicily. Being the inaugural recipient of the Fishman Fund Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award represents an immense honor for me. I feel grateful to the Fishman Fund founders and donors for recognizing the importance of supporting science advancement by investing in young minds, and the Selection Committee and the Office of Education, Training and International Services for their dedication and for making possible for me to stand in front of you today. As people are not islands, I want to acknowledge the highly talented and passionate colleagues who I owe so much of the results that made our research excellent. Especially Luca, Jimmy, and Shushin, with whom I had the pleasure to develop many projects over the years, and my mentor, Lorenzo, who is an example of what leading with competence, but above all compassion, truly means. Because when it comes to the reason why we work so hard, it's not for the publications, funding, or prizes, but for the patients, and all those people who look to us to ameliorate the quality of life of their loved ones. I want to thank our President and CEO, David Brenner, and our Chair of the Board of Trustees, Donald Kearns, for leading our institute into a new chapter while preserving the core values upon which it was built. Those values brought me here to Sanford Burnham Prebys 6 years ago, as I wanted my research to have translational relevance. In the Puri Lab, which focuses on neuromuscular diseases and is behind the discovery of the first FDA-approved drug for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, I had the chance to lead the data analysis on different projects. I am a computational biologist, which means that I look into biological processes through the lenses of computer science and statistics. Starting from the creation of a map of the DNA contacts within the human skeletal muscle, where DNA contacts shape cell behavior like origami, and this can be altered by mutations in our genetic sequence, with the overarching goal of serving as a base for the development of artificial intelligence-based prognostic tools to assist clinicians on the best therapeutic approach for each patient. Additionally, I contributed to the characterization at the individual cell level of dysferlinopathy, a rare form of muscular dystrophy that makes everyday tasks impossible without assistance. I created a browsable atlas for the community to accelerate the research of druggable targets to improve muscle function. Finally, I studied the effects of loss of nerve supply on muscle, like what happens in spinal cord injury or ALS, Lou Gehrig disease, which identified targets to prevent muscle wasting and promote reinnervation. Loss of nerve connections and muscle mass are issues also common to aging, which makes advancing those research areas a priority, leading to improvements in the quality of life of many. My long-term career goal is to become a principal investigator leading a bioinformatics group in a research institute, where my primary focus will be the study of the genetic and regulatory determinants of disease susceptibility and variability in drug response, paving the way to personalized medicine. The Fishman Fund Cynthia Schwartz Shenkman Research Excellence Award will help establish myself and give me the visibility I need to reach my career goal. And for this, I want again to express my gratitude to the Fishman Fund founders and donors for believing in me. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my partner, Louis, who is here today, for making the good days better and the bad days easier. I am grateful to share my life journey with you. Finally, I want to thank my family in Italy, who let me pursue my dream, knowing that I would not have been there to help through everyday tasks when they would have needed me the most. Their selflessness, love, and support are the main reasons I'm standing here today, and I hope to keep making you proud that wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, and congratulations, Chiara. At this time, I would like to invite Arlene Esgate to join me in presenting the next award.
I'm very honored to present the biannual Fishman Fund Fellowship, which offers an exceptional Sanford Burnham Prebys postdoc, a 2-year award. This fellowship demonstrates the Institute's strong commitment and support to the future leaders and pioneers of science. Today, I am so pleased to introduce Dr. James Marchant, PhD. He's a postdoctoral associate in Dr. Alex Kolish's lab. His research focuses on developing a gene therapy to treat heart failure. Heart attacks reduce blood and oxygen flow to the heart muscle, leading to scar tissue that can increase the risk of future heart attacks. Dr. Marchant aims to convert cells within the scar tissue back into healthy muscle heart cells. Wow. Please, Dr. Marchant.
Thank you, Arlene, for the kind introduction, and thank you all for being here today. My name is James Marchant, and I'm the proud recipient of the Fishman Fund Fellowship. I would like to start by expressing my sincere gratitude to the Fishman Fund founders for their donations and their generosity. Your contribution extends far beyond a simple award. This is your contribution to science, your contribution to the scientific discovery, and your contribution to developing treatments and supporting young scientists in their research and their career development. For this, I want to thank you for myself, but also on behalf of my co-recipients, as well as previous recipients and future recipients. Your donation means more than you can imagine. As good science is never done alone, I would like to also extend my gratitude to my fantastic lab members and my outstanding mentor, Dr. Alexander Kolas, without whom I would not be where I am today. At 8 years of age, my closest childhood friend and I were staring into my aquarium filled with tropical fish. In that moment, I decided I wanted to become a marine biologist. A few years later, my family and I immigrated from the United Kingdom to France, where I was faced with learning a new language, navigating a new education system, and integrating into a whole new society. My dream of becoming a marine biologist seemed to be slipping away. However, being the self-driven, determined, and sometimes stubborn person I can be, I became fluent in French. I obtained my master's degree in marine biology, and I fully integrated it into French society. So, why am I standing here today in front of you all speaking English and not French? Why San Diego and not Paris? What happened to that childhood dream of mine? Well, during my master's degree, I was introduced to cardiac cells. Cardiac cells, which are literally the beating life of life itself, entered into my academic path and changed my career trajectory. I was fascinated with how cardiac cells are electrically activated to contract in a beautifully orchestrated manner to pump blood around the body. The more I learned about cardiac cells, the more infatuated I became, and the more curious I became to learn about how they work. The downside, of course, of this is that I also learned how sometimes they don't work, how cardiac diseases occur, and how devastating an effect they can have on patients and their families. In turn, this helped me to better understand my uncle. You see, my uncle was diagnosed with heart failure around the same time I was dreaming of becoming a marine biologist. By the time my family moved to France, he was on the heart transplantation list. By the time I earned my master's degree, he had been waiting on that list for 6 years. He died 2 years ago, waiting on that heart transplant list for such a long time. But what if there was no heart transplant waiting list? Instead of a heart transplant being the only treatment option for patients with heart failure, what if we could regenerate the failing heart? What if we could take the scar tissue that is causing the disease and turn it back into healthy beating tissue? This is the goal of my research, to convert damaged and injured cells back into beating cells by delivering potent cardiac gene signals that initiate a fundamental change in the cell properties. We are essentially reprogramming the cells. By introducing these signals, the cells will initiate a process transforming them from non-cardiac cells back into cardiac muscle cells. This process is not easy, and there are a number of molecular barriers to overcome. The aim of my project is to overcome these barriers to develop a heart failure therapy. And using this approach, I have already achieved a reprogramming efficiency that is 4 times higher than the current industry gold standard. This preliminary data is very exciting and shows true promise for developing the foundation of the first heart failure therapy, and I very much look forward to sharing my progress and results with you throughout this fellowship. This project and fellowship will support my efforts towards achieving my career goal of leading my own team in translational medicine, conducting research to develop therapies to treat cardiac diseases and arrhythmias. I'm standing here today not as a marine biologist, but as the recipient of the Fishman Fund Fellowship, and I can confirm with pride and certainty that my childhood dream did in fact come true, as I am making significant contributions to a scientific field that is close to my heart, and I thank you for making this possible. I may have set out to be a marine biologist, but I can visit the aquarium whenever I want. I thank you for your attention, and thank you one last time for your generosity, for your contribution to my science, to this project, and to my career. Thank you.
Oh, the end is near, and pretty soon you'll have circulation back in your bottom ends. I thank you, James, and congratulations. On behalf of Sanford Burnham Prebys, we sincerely appreciate your support. I want you all for taking the time to come here and join us in celebrating these bright and talented scientists. Together, we all make the impossible possible. I'm going to ask the postdoc winners to come up front, and we'll give them a round of applause. But I also want to invite you to continue the celebration with good food, good conversation, and lovely libations out on the terrace. So enjoy yourself, Fishman Fund winners, come up, and let's give them all a big hand.